started doing it annually. They just do inflation.
Yeah.
And the first year we had a ton of people. The second year it was about, I don't know, 6 or 10. Third year, not so.
What do you think people feel about the budget? Like, it's not really sure how to digest it, and really if they can make any difference. But you'd think when you're literally saying we're planning on raising your taxes, people would show up.
Well, or at least come and ask questions about where the money gets
Right.
for your street or whatever. Ask.
Hi, how are you? You've been here the last few weeks.
I know. It's just because you're here. I love to see your face. I miss you. How are you doing, Dave?
Good, how are you, Jenny?
Hey, thanks.
Good.
How are you?
Good.
What are you here for?
What's that?
What are you here for?
I know. I did not confirm.
Or their decade or something.
As entrance.
Did we say like there?
I don't know if she said she was going to be here, so she gave me this. Had me. Said, hey, let's go. I don't think so. And they'll have a big discussion. On the budget.
Yeah, she's awesome.
How we doing? Good to see you. You excited for the wedding next month? I guess Josh's been doing some nice job on the city boxes. Sure. Well, I can't wait to watch to see you. I think it's down.
You know, Bush.
I don't think anybody.
Do you have her name and stuff? I guess he knows. Yeah, you got it. You're good.
I do. Got the slides. So then you can control with this. You should be able to.
Oh, yeah.
I know now why they use bobcats. Trying to get out of the truck. My friend's like, I can do leg press. I can't pick this up at all. So we like slumped it onto a cart and then put over the temporary hole until it in. Yeah. I had to like water on the engine hoist from my neighbor to hoist it up, and then the engine hoist would roll. So then we set it down on the cart again, and then my friend said, let's just pick it up. So we tried to pick it up and wiggled it, and our butts in the hole. And he had just bought a skid steer. Let's go. Just a quick house. Like, why do you buy a skid steer? Look at it. Like, well, you bought a truck Saturday too. Fence was in. You'd stand on the driveway, cars parked in the street. So the guy from Power used to be on Marvelous. He does tree from the side. He got up there, tree climbing gear, and saw on a rope, pop, chop, chop, pop, chop.
We would like to welcome you to the Municipal Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 15th. It is 5:35, and we're convened in the City Center Council chambers. We will please recognize that this meeting is being broadcast live on YouTube, Provo City Council, where it will be available for on-demand viewing. The council requests that citizens help maintain the decorum of the meeting by turning off electronic devices, being respectful to the council and others, and refraining from applauding during the proceedings of the meeting. We will begin with a roll call.
Cliff Stratton. Brian Jones. Dave Sewell. George Handley. Kay Van Buren.
Gary Winterton.
David Harding.
Dave Connect.
George Stewart.
Wayne Parker.
Thank you. We will have an opening prayer and a pledge by Jeff Larson, HR Specialist. Jeff, we invite you to come forward. Thank you.
Our Father in heaven, we thank thee that we can gather this evening for our municipal council meeting, and we thank thee for the leadership that we have in Provo City and for the great city that it is, and what thou help and guide us today, that we can make decisions for our city that'll most benefit it, and how we can know how to help our citizens most. And we thank thee for all thy many blessings. And we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have for approval of minutes, the minutes for March 6th, 2018, a council meeting, and March 27th, 2018, council meeting. Are there any changes or additions to those minutes by any council member? Seeing none, I declare these minutes approved by unanimous consent.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I just want to express appreciation for the very professional and great job that our city recorder does in preparing those minutes. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Amanda. Yes, thank you very much. We will move on to a perfect timing, Mayor. We will move on to a presentation of the Mayor's Award of Excellence, and this will be presented by Mayor Capuzzi.
I'm feeling like the luckiest mayor because I think the past mayor only did 2 or 3, and the one before that did 2 or 3, and this is my second and third. I'm so excited, and I've only been in a few months, but that just tells you how much I appreciate everyone and all their hard work. So these awards are really special. It's a big deal. We spend a lot of thought and time. We just don't give them to anyone, and I'm just going to hold this up so you can see what it looks like. An audience. So I want to start by having Gary Bushman come up. And as he's walking up, I'm going to tell you why he's getting this award and what program it's about. It's about our 360 project. I know you're all very well versed in the 360 project, but for the audience, the 360 project is basically a new technology system that is going to bring, it's what the city's going to use to interface with its citizens. And it's a new modern, it's the newest, latest, greatest. It'll make life so much easier for the citizens of Provo. They can get on and manage all their different bills and departments all by themselves and just be a lot more transparent. They'll be able to watch everything. So with that said, Gary Bushman, he has been the coordinator, the director, the guru of this, the lead out that we have. We asked him to take it upon himself, and he said, I'm going to retire, and apparently we said, no, you're not. You're going to get reassigned is what you're going to do. So I took just a few notes about some great things about Gary. So he stepped out of his role as the HR director to be the project manager. He did it for 2 unselfish reasons. The first, he wanted to help the city effectively manage the implementation of Provo 360. And second was to give Daniel Softly the opportunity to be the interim HR division director for the whole time. It's been great because he's had his mentor and a resource right here. So thank you, Gary, for that. So he managed our very complex project, and it has not been easy. Anyone in the city that's an employee that's here knows that it's been a little bit of a trick. He's been very tenacious in representing and defending the city's interests as they relate to Provo 360, ensuring that the software delivers the agreed-upon functionality, tracking items and working with the software vendor to ensure the project was on schedule, which has not been easy. I mean, some of the employees have been like, hello, Mayor, I'm going home, and it's like Monday morning at 9, and they have been here all weekend working to meet their deadlines. Demonstrated his ability to talk straight with both the Provo team and the software vendor, and put the project schedule ahead of his own vacation plans, including retirement. That was one of his plans. And we said, please don't, and come and finish this. And coordinated with all impacted Provo departments to work towards meeting deadlines. Do you have family here? We'd love to have them up. Come up, family. I am just honored to have your dad, your husband working with me. Tell me your name.
Jason.
Hi, Hi, Jason. Hi, Debbie. You probably have had a rough year with him working so many hours on this, but we're so grateful for everything he's done. The city council appreciates it so much, and myself and our administrative office, we just are grateful for everything you've done. So the award says, Provo City Mayor's Award of Excellence presented to Gary Bushman in appreciation for outstanding service as project manager of the Provo 360 project on May 15th, 2018, and by Michelle Kafusi, the Provo City Mayor. So thank you so much. Thank you. I feel like I need to No, your wife and son, stay up. You should be in the picture.
Hopefully one of these will be good. No, I think
Oh, should I just do it right there? Okay, thanks, Cliff. All right, and our second recipient tonight. Should I move it? The second person that we're recognizing tonight, there's Josh. Come on up, Josh. Josh Eyrig, and that wife is, come on up and join us. You might as well be up here while we talk about him. Fantastic. Come and face this way or that way. We never know in this room which way to face.
yeah, it depends on the
We
camera.
want to talk to the council, but
Yeah.
so Josh, he's receiving this award for the same reason, similar, his appreciation for his outstanding service at the Provo 360 project. And just running into Josh in the garage a couple times and his sleepy eyes, I'm glad you're getting an award to compensate for all your lack of sleep. I just pulled up a few things. I wanted to talk just to highlight a couple items about Josh. Has significantly contributed to the overall vision for the Provo 360 project, has implemented organizational structure to support the Provo 360 project, worked closely with functional teams on key tasks, managed the IS team to provide for all systems and technical needs of the project. This is so funny. He has been the pig. I don't love that term. I did not write that, just so you know.
Just so people know.
Yeah.
If you're making breakfast, there's two types of people in a project, right?
Okay.
There's the chicken who participated, and then there's the pig who is truly committed.
Okay. So now we know that when I was writing, they're like, Mayor, right? He was the pig. I'm like, I'm not writing that. And they're like, oh, he'll get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Thank you for getting it. I've been nervous about that all day with that word.
But at least now everyone understands it.
They do. So he has been the pig on the project, willing to get down in the mud and do what needs to be done. That's how I took it. So, but yours is better. So anyways, is committed to the project, worked many long hours, evenings and weekends, and motivated his staff to stay focused. So Josh, thank you for everything you've done on behalf of the city council and myself and Wayne and our whole city. We appreciate your hard work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Josh and Gary, thank you so much. One thing that I've learned is somebody put an easy button up here for me, so I'm going to make things easy for public comment period and turn it over to Brian.
I was asked months ago to draft this list of rules, and apparently...
Excuse me, Brian, I missed one. Let's do item number 2 first. Employee of the
let's
month.
do that.
I better do that first. Thank you. And we'll turn the time to Chaz Addis for that.
Thanks for having us. I'm the president of the Employees Association. On behalf of the association, we'd like to recognize Energy Zone Victoria Young as the Employee of the Month for May. Victoria's a great character, and she's pretty new to the team, but she's made herself valuable pretty quickly. So now I'd like to turn the time over to Michael Zarnacki to just go through a couple of slides and present Victoria to you guys. And then afterwards, we'd like to take pictures.
This is Victoria. She came to us quite recently, and we're pretty, got a lot of long-term employees, and Victoria came to us, started full-time in November of last year. But she's been with us for a little bit before then. The way she came to us was in a way that really shows us, her true character, her true worth. She came to us, knocked on the door, knocked on Tad, made an appointment with Tad, and said, "I am an electrical engineering student. I would like to come and wondering if you have an internship or any positions." And there weren't none available. She said, "Great. I would like to negotiate a salary of 0." And volunteered for quite some time, and it's that great that drive that she has. She originally came when she was about 8 years old. She came from Guyana in 2014. Pause for laughter. She immigrated from Guyana in 2014. She married, her husband is Landon. They were married in 2016. She is now an electrical engineering student at BYU. She started at BYU, Idaho, and then came down here. Her husband is a chemical engineering major. So she's worked for us since August of 2016. And she started, we were able to have a paid position for her in January 2017, and in November the position opened up in dispatch upstairs in the engineering department, doing all the SCADA stuff for all the substations, all the interfacing with the contractors, and just the whole kind of the operations part. So Victoria's been, boy, she just she sets the pace for the whole organization. She's great. She's really does. She's on top of everything. She makes sure to follow up. She's just an amazing all-around person, driven, and it's no wonder she's been. I've been here since 1999, and I have never stood here. She's been here. She's been here for just a little bit, and and here she is. So that's. Great part of working for Provo Power, working with great people. That says a lot about her. A couple words that describe her. She's earnest, pleasant, dedicated, and steadfast. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Now I will push the easy button and turn things over to Brian.
Great. I did such a good job of packing so much information into this when I drafted this a few months ago that now I've been asked to read it so that nobody else has to suffer through it. So here we go. As indicated on the screen, a required public hearing will be held for certain agenda items prior to council action. After each such item has been presented, time to comment will be provided for all those who wish to speak. For items that do not require a public hearing, public comment will still be taken following presentation of the item, but will be limited to 10 minutes. At this time, 15 minutes have been set aside for an open public comment period, which is intended to allow comment on matters that do not appear on the agenda. Persons who speak during this time to an item that is on the agenda will not normally be afforded a second opportunity to speak during the comment period specific to that item. During any public comment period, now or later, each speaker will generally be limited to 2 minutes. Additional time may be given to individuals specifically invited to speak, such as applicants, neighborhood chairs, or others that may be representing additional persons. Please begin your comments by stating your name and city of residence. Due to noticing requirements, no formal action will be taken in this meeting on matters that do not appear on the agenda. Those with comments are invited to approach the podium at this time.
Okay, seeing no public comment, we will close public comment period and bring it back to the council. We will move on to item number 2, a resolution of the Provo City Municipal Council regarding the implementation of a new water reclamation facility. And Dave Decker will present this.
Thank you very much, Council Chair Winterton, and thank you to the council and to the administration for the opportunity to present this resolution tonight. As I've indicated to the council, and just very quickly for public information, I'm trying to figure out how to give a quick history on this and do it in less than a minute, but for a number of years, the city has known that the state Division of Water Quality would be implementing new regulations on treatment plants, particularly well throughout the state, not just in Utah Lake, but the ones that obviously affect us are regulations in Utah Lake. And those regulations would go into effect in the year 2020. And several years ago, we were made aware that the state would allow us to have a variance, and we could apply for that variance through the end of the last calendar year, 2017. Provo City staff did that. We applied for the variance with the knowledge of the council and the administration. The state has granted our variance with a number of conditions, and one of the conditions is several deadlines, resolutions that have to be passed by the council on specific dates. The first of those deadlines is coming up in June of this year, June of 2018, and the state is asking for a resolution to be passed by the council giving city staff some general direction relative to the treatment plant. And based on information that we submitted and as far as master plans, they selected 3 options to give us. One of them, the first option was to rehabilitate our existing treatment plant to meet the regulations by 2025. The second option was a phased approach for a brand new facility. And the last option was a full capacity new facility. And the staff is recommending through this resolution that we pursue the option of a new facility with a phased approach. And the resolution also includes an approximate budget, approximate cost estimate for that particular facility. So that's the first of the deadlines that we are to meet. There's 2 other deadlines in 2019 that get a little bit more detail. But again, this is a very general approach that we're indicating that we're pursuing with the state. And I think the intent of this is just to make sure that that both the staff and the council are aware of the direction that we're going, and we're communicating clearly to the state officials that we're still on the path. So I think unless there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I think that's the end of the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Decker.
Thank you.
We will open this for any public comment. Seeing none again, we will bring it back to the council for any further discussion. We had a little discussion around this at the work meeting today, and now, with no other discussion, we will call, we have an implied motion on the, for this item, and I'll call for a vote. Those in favor? Thank you. That passes unanimously. Items number 3 and 4, we had a little confusion with them. Is it item 3 or is it 4 and 5, or are we doing 3 and 4, Brian?
Yeah, so the chair notes are misnumbered because there were 2 presentations, and I think you only have 1 in your,
right.
In your chair notes. So, or at least the 2 is duplicated, I guess. So these are items 4 and 5 on the agenda that have been continued to a future planning commission meeting. The first one has to do with a code amendment to chapter 14.20, and the second one has to do with a proposed ordinance amending the low-density residential zone to increase the height limit. And staff just asked me to make a clarifying comment to the public about why that one has been continued. In our last meeting, the council had indicated to community development staff that they would like community development staff to come back with a proposal about how to handle that item without making a citywide change to the zone. And the proposal that community development staff developed involved rezoning the property to the medium density residential zone instead, and then entering into a development agreement to limit certain aspects of the development. Because the proposed rezone was to a zone less restrictive than the zone that Planning Commission had already discussed, it was decided that in order for that to be considered by the council, you needed a recommendation from the Planning Commission first. So that's why it's been referred back to the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you very much. So we will continue items 4 and 5 to a date that we will determine when the Planning Commission has their meeting and is ready to give us a recommendation. We will then move on to item number 6, a resolution tentatively adopting a proposed budget for Provo City Corporation for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018 and ending June 30th, 2019. And Dustin Graybaugh will present this.
Thank you, Councilmember Winterden. The tentative budget was presented to the council, or given to the council initially 2 weeks ago. We've only begun to start the process of evaluating that budget, but it includes $211,627,000 of expenditures, with transfers out not included in that. The general fund represents about 27% of that total, or about $57 million of it. And there are a number of changes from last year. The largest increases to the general fund come from sales tax and fee increases. A lot of the details that we're planning on diving in over this tentative process, we're planning on having future meetings reviewing some of the details of the departments and the changes that were made from last year's budget, as well as evaluating any future changes that we might be making in the final adopted budget. When we come back to you in June, we'll include a reconciliation of any changes that we make to the budget through this evaluation process. That'll include any revenue or expenditure changes, as we talked about. I think there was one mentioned during the work session today that we'll already be incorporating. I'm happy to answer any questions that the council or the public has about this item, but otherwise I'll turn the time to you.
Thank you. George.
I saved most of my questions for the retreat, but just for an example, Covey Center Fund 230 doesn't have a last year budget, and there's 2 or 3 other ones in the detailed budgets that aren't there. Is that because of 360?
No, I should be able to get those to you. I apologize for that. I think part of the detail sheets there was a bit of a time crunch in getting some of the information to the council, and so some of that got delayed, and I apologize for that oversight, but I can get you the information. There, it's available.
Employee benefits was another one. There's 630 and
Covey Center, you said 630, which is
equipment replacement was
employee
also
benefits.
655.
Okay, employee benefits.
Thank you so much. These detail sheets are incredible and give me all the information I need to review the budget, so thank you.
Okay, and the vehicle bank, okay. And those detail sheets, there's a digital version that's available to the council staff. If you don't have access to that, or you'd like a physical copy, I'd be happy to make you a physical copy as well.
Any other questions right now? I'm sure we've all going to have several over the next few weeks, but this item is available for public comment, and we will bring it to public comment right now. Okay, Pam, you're not willing to talk about the budget at this point? Not right now. You're studying, I know. Okay. Okay, very good. We will bring it back to the council for any other discussion, any other comments at this point? Okay, we have an implied motion to accept, tentatively adopt the proposed budget. Those in favor? That passes unanimously. We will look for a motion to recess as the municipal council and reconvene as the Redevelopment Agency of Provo.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Stewart. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Van Buren. Those in favor? Thank you very much. Mr. Chair. Dave.
Yes. Sorry. Just reading ahead here.
Go for it.
We will have a presentation by... Thank you. We will have a presentation by Dustin on a resolution tentatively adopting a proposed budget for the Redevelopment Agency of Provo, of the Redevelopment Agency of Provo City Corporation.
The Redevelopment Agency includes a number of funds. There is an appendix in the budget document that begins on page 130 that has the details for those items. There's also in the detail sheets specific line item budgets for those areas. Overall, there's a proposed $7,377,462 for across all of those funds. At the moment, there are 6 funds in the Redevelopment Agency, with the largest being the Community Development Block Grant. If there are any questions or comments about the Redevelopment Agency, I'd be happy to answer them, but we'll also be addressing these budgets during the budget retreat process.
Gary? Question?
Mr. Stewart.
Community Development Block Grant Fund 273, it shows an amount less than we're going to be getting, I assume, because we didn't get the amount in time for the book.
So how particularly the CDBG funds and other aspects of the Redevelopment Agency works is it actually requires us to expend the funds and incur indebtedness, and then we get reimbursed after the fact. So if you actually look at previous budget books, it's a similar case in those items as well. To get into the specifics, I would defer to David Walter or Dan Gonzalez on the details of how those things work. I'm sure David would be happy to address the specifics of it.
This is another one where we don't have the past year.
Oh, I apologize. If you're just talking about last year's numbers
No.
For the CDBG?
This is this year's, but we don't have last year's either.
Okay, I can get last year's for those comparisons. But David, if you want to address the...
David, my understanding is the federal grant this year is going to be in excess of $1,083,085,000.
Yes, the Department of Housing and Urban Development just recently issued their guidelines, and we are going to be getting about 9 to 10% more than we had anticipated. So some of the numbers when we submit those, they're kind of our best estimate based on past grants. So in the past, they've kind of trimmed it down, and this year we went up slightly.
So the final budget will have the figure?
Yes.
Thank you.
If there are any other questions?
I don't see any. Do we, let's see, open this? Yes, we need to open this to the public. So, we have one member of the public. Would you care to come up and talk to us? Not yet. Okay, then we will bring it back to the council. We will bring this back to the council and, yes. Yes. The council that is the RDA board. And we will ask if there's a motion, since we don't, technically, it doesn't say we have an implied motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we tentatively adopt the proposed budget for the Redevelopment Agency of Provo City Corporation for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018, and ending June 30th, 2019.
Do we have? George beat George. Oh, you want to give it to George? Okay. George Handley got it. Okay. All in favor? And the voting is unanimous. If there's no objection, we will now adjourn as the Redevelopment Agency of Provo and reconvene as the Stormwater Service District of Provo by unanimous consent.
Thank you very much. We will now entertain item number 7, a resolution tentatively adopting a proposed budget for the Provo City Stormwater Service District for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2018 and ending June 30, 2019.
Thank you, council members. This is our third and final section of our budget. This area is also included in the appendix of the budget on page 129. The amount proposed is $4,713,241 for expenditures across the operating and capital improvement divisions. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about the Stormwater Service District.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Dustin. Appreciate that. And all the work that goes into this budget. The more I look at it, the more I appreciate you. Thank you very much. We'll open again to public comment. And again, we will close it to public comment. We'll bring it back to the council and I'll look for a motion then. Since I don't see an implied motion here either, we'll just call for a motion to adopt the resolution of the proposed budget. Mr. Handley, thank you for that motion. Is there a second? Well, Dave Connect, thank you very much for the second. Those in favor? Thank you very much. That passes unanimously. And if there is no objection, we will now adjourn the Provo Municipal Council meeting by unanimous consent. We were faster than that.